boom. The sound of precision, power, and poise. Joseph Parker's fists don't just land, they resonate through the heavyweight division. From winning the WBO World Heavyweight Title to going 12 rounds with Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte, Parker has faced the best and stood tall every time. Every punch, a statement. Every victory, a reminder that real power doesn't scream. It speaks softly and hits hard. And when the gloves come off, that same discipline and quiet dominance follow him outside the ring. A Bentley gliding through Auckland streets, designer suits that move like armor, and a lifestyle built on precision, not excess. So, before we step inside the power, the precision, and the polished greatness of Joseph Parker, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because this isn't just boxing, this is power refined. Born on January 9th, 1992, in South Auckland, New Zealand, Joseph Parker's story begins in a place where dreams are built from grit, not glamour. From a moment he laced his first gloves at age 10, it was clear Parker wasn't just another kid throwing punches. He was different, calm under pressure, calculated in chaos. A fighter whose silence spoke louder than his words. By 2016, that quiet determination exploded onto the world stage when Parker defeated Andy Ruiz Jr. to become the first heavyweight world champion from New Zealand and the Pacific Islands. He stood toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua in front of 80,000 fans, becoming the first man ever to take Joshua the full 12 rounds and silence critics with a brutal second-round knockout over Martin Bakole to claim the WBO Interim Heavyweight Title in 2024. Through victories and defeats, his legacy has only grown, proof that power doesn't always need noise. Today, with an estimated net worth of $5 million, he stands as a global icon, respected, disciplined, and unshakably composed. But behind that calm exterior lies a relentless drive. Because for Joseph Parker, every fight isn't just about winning. It's about proving he still belongs at the top of the world. When he stepped into the professional ranks in 2012, he wasn't just fighting opponents. He was fighting expectations. Every punch carried the hopes of a nation that had never crowned a heavyweight world champion. And every victory brought him closer to rewriting New Zealand's place in boxing history. At 20 years old, Parker was already built for the part. Explosive hands, granite chin, and a temperament that made him dangerous in silence. He didn't talk about destruction, he delivered it. Dean Garmentsway fell in 2 rounds. Francois Botha, a veteran who traded leather with Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, lasted only twice as long. With each knockout, he wasn't just winning, he was building a myth. Under the guidance of trainer Kevin Barry, Parker traded the comfort of home for the unforgiving grind of Las Vegas, a desert where dreams are either forged or buried. There, he honed his fundamentals, sharpened his defense, and sculpted himself into a complete fighter. Every day began with pain. Every night ended with exhaustion. But inside that suffering, something powerful was forming, a champion's mind. By 2016, his name was echoing through the heavyweight division. The moment of truth came in Auckland, December 10th, 2016, a night that would define him forever. Across the ring stood Andy Ruiz Jr., unbeaten, relentless, and equally hungry. The prize, the vacant WBO Heavyweight Championship. 12 rounds of fire followed. Ruiz came forward like a tank. Parker boxed with poise, countering, adjusting, enduring. When the final bell rang, he became the first heavyweight world champion from New Zealand and the Pacific Islands. For a moment, he wasn't just Joseph Parker. He was every Pacific dream come true. But boxing is cruel. The moment you reach the top, the countdown begins to how long you'll stay there. He defended his title twice, first against Razvan Kajinu, then against Hughie Fury, cousin of the elusive Tyson Fury. He won both, but critics weren't satisfied. They wanted knockouts, fireworks, dominance. Parker was winning smart, not spectacular. And in boxing, perception is as deadly as punches. Then came a challenge that would define his limits. March 31st, 2018, Cardiff, Wales. 80,000 fans. Anthony Joshua, the golden boy of British boxing, Olympic hero, global superstar. The stakes, a unification bout for the WBA, IBF, IBO, and WBO titles. The fight was tactical, Joshua's power against Parker's precision. For the first time in his career, Joshua was taking the full 12 rounds. Parker lost on points, but he left with something more valuable than belts: respect. He proved he belonged among the elite. Another defeat to Dillian Whyte later that year deepened a doubt. For many, it looked like the beginning of the end. But Parker never stopped believing. The partnership with Andy Lee, former world champion and Tyson Fury's confidant, was the turning point. Under Lee's eye, he found rhythm, aggression, and patience all over again, and the results spoke for themselves. He dominated Junior FA, settling a rivalry that dated back to their amateur days. He outlasted Derek Chisora twice in two of the most brutal wars of his career, earning universal respect for his resilience and ring IQ. He demolished Jack Massey, shut down Simon Keane, and in every performance, reminded the world that he wasn't done. But the moment that shook the division came in Riyadh, December 23, 2023. Parker versus Deontay Wilder. To most, it was a mismatch. Wilder, 42 knockouts in 43 wins, was supposed to flatten Parker in a round. The world tuned in expecting carnage. What they got instead was a masterclass. Parker neutralized Wilder's power, countered his right hand, and dominated the fight from start to finish. The result wasn't close, a shutout victory. It wasn't just an upset, it was a statement. The silent storm had returned. Then, in February 2025, he unleashed perhaps his most violent performance yet. A second-round knockout of Martin Bakole to claim the WBO Interim Heavyweight Title. The arena erupted. Parker didn't celebrate wildly. He simply smiled, calm, composed, like a man who had just proven a point to the world. He'd climbed back from the shadows. He'd silenced his doubters. And he wasn't finished. Today, he stands at 36 wins, 3 losses, and 24 knockouts, a record carved through persistence and pain. And as Parker trains in silence, his eyes tell the story of a man who's not satisfied with comeback. He wants conquest. But one question still burns in every fan's mind. Can he, the warrior who rose, fell, and rose again, finish the story he started in that small South Auckland home? The world is watching. The gloves are ready, and the next bell might just echo into history. But behind the fighter's calm gaze lies something softer. At home, he's not the heavyweight contender. He's a father, chasing laughter with his 5 children, guided by the quiet strength of his longtime partner, Lane Tavita. Together, they've built a world untouched by cameras, a world where love outweighs belts, and peace comes not from victory, but from presence. His life isn't a spectacle, it's a statement. His home reflects everything he stands for, strength wrapped in serenity. Step inside and you'll find a world designed for warmth. Wide open spaces filled with laughter, sunlight spilling across polished floors, the sound of his children echoing through rooms built not for trophies, but for togetherness. It's here, surrounded by family and old friends, that Parker, the heavyweight warrior, finally exhales. Outside, a Range Rover Sport and a Mercedes-Benz SUV rest quietly in the driveway. Not symbols of showmanship, but milestones of a man who's earned his comfort. He could have gone for supercars and attention, but that's not who he is. He prefers machines that mirror his personality. Refined, reliable, powerful beneath the surface. His home gym tells another story. Precision-built with world-class boxing gear, recovery tech, and the kind of discipline that never fades. Every dumbbell, every glove, every drop of sweat in that room carries the echo of his purpose. And when he steps out, his taste follows that same understated elegance. Designer casual wear, sleek suits, and watches from Omega and Tag Heuer that whisper sophistication rather than shout wealth. He travels in comfort, business class, 5-star stays, but never loses touch with the roots that raised him. Because to Joseph Parker, true luxury isn't about flashing what you have, it's about remembering who you are. And yet behind that quiet grace, the fire still burns. Because for the silent king of South Auckland, the story isn't over. It's just waiting for the next round. Before you go, don't miss out on exclusive perks. Click the link in the description to become a channel member and enjoy awesome benefits, like suggesting future video topics, getting early access to new content 48 hours before anyone else, and much more. Your support means the world and helps us keep bringing you the stories you love. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. And while you're here, why not check out our deep dive into how Manny Pacquiao spends his $220 million video? Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.